Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated.
It's the start of the Nerkie, and we know it. It's the start of a Nerkie, and we know it. And I feel fine.
I feel tired. It's been a long weekend.
I feel tired too. It has been a long weekend. How are you, sir?
How are you?
I am good and tired. I had a long weekend we had the state finals for esports for all the high schools, and so we were busy running that.
You're gluten tired.
And winning trophies and medals and stuff. So good and tired. So yeah, so we're on a new Nerkie, episode 3. So I guess we should start off with introductions if you've never watched before. If you're just joining us from this new one, well, welcome to Every Man's Guide to Nerddom. We are two 30 to 40 something year olds who talk about pretty much whatever we want. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle, and you guys may know us possibly from online on the Twitches as Guyver. That's
maybe
it's Chris over. I'm gonna do this every time. Chris over there, and K-Sig.
There.
Woo! And K-Sig, that's me.
There.
We stream on the Twitches. We'll have links to all of our fun stuff, plus the Discord for the podcast in the bio down below. So make sure you go check those out. I tend to stream off and on Monday through Saturday. Chris is usually there with us at least on Saturday when we do our spooky Saturday roundup of playing random horror games. Yeah, so it's fun. You guys come check it out.
Yeah, once we get a little more free time, hopefully, we'll be doing more than once to twice a week. But I'm there.
We're there.
Usually, I'm the one dying first. Usually, when it's Harry leading the damn creep. Saying, "Hey, look," and then Harry hides in the bushes.
Yeah, playing the labyrinth this last weekend. That was fun.
That bastard.
That rat bastard, Harry.
Rat bastard. So, yeah, episode 3, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This one is called The Power Broker. We get deeper into. I want to say this is only 6 episodes. So this is going to be coming fast and furious from here on out. I think. I don't think there's going to be any more slow parts.
No, and this was a pretty high-paced episode.
So it kind of hit from the beginning. So I'm hitting play. Just dive right into it.
Oh, I'll probably do that.
Of course, we start off the recap. So I'm going to go forward till after we get to. Because we led off with them saying we're going to go see Baron Zemo. He knows everything about Hydra. So we get to the title sequence, and then we get to one of those cheesy, like Propecia herpes commercials.
Those are 2 entirely different things.
You know what?
Is your hair falling out and your genitals itch? Because...
You know what? They may go to the same company. And what if the guy was tired like us, and then, or girl, lady, who was doing these commercials, and then just edited them together? My hair's falling out, and my genitals itch.
Now I have a full head of hair, and I can ride a bike again.
Thank you, Pro Urple. So it's a commercial for the global Repatriation Council. Repatriation. I can't read. Kid can't even read.
Words.
Or the GRC words. Rural. So, and it's just like one of these little commercials, and they hit on this last time. That this is why Flag Smasher is doing what they're doing is because of this. Yeah. They're saying that this place is just evil. Like, they're not actually helping people. They're helping the people who shouldn't be helped get back into the place of power that they were at.
Right.
So, and then we see a van pull up and with Polizzi written on it. And they open the door and there's the old man from Up with Cap's shield.
Mm-hmm. That son of a bitch.
That son of a bitch. Walker! Walker!
He just has this look
Walker,
as soon as
Booker.
that door opens, like, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. Look.
And all
when he comes filing out of there, so you get Walker coming out. They're raiding the internet cafe where we saw the Flag Smashers hiding out last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it was, wasn't it? Yep.
Mm-hmm. They're in Munich.
And if you remember from last episode too, sorry, Kyle, they said that I believe it was the NC when they broke him out or they got him out of the police station. Walker said specifically, we're targeting the civilians that are helping them. That's how we're trying to find them. So that's why they're there. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, they said, that's probably gonna be the best way to track them down. So they I might drop it a little bit. Hang on here. There we go. So they
Do you have droopy mic?
If you have a droopy mic, try GRC.
Try GRC.
Your mic not performing to the fullest of its ability. And so
we're old.
So we see
it happens.
New Cap start interrogating the owner of the cafe. And then
which is the guy who gave them sanctuary and the chicken liver meal.
Yeah, the delicious chicken liver meal that nobody took on, and I don't know why.
Well, one guy did. Remember, it's like, ooh,
chicken livers.
Probably because it wasn't fried. Needed to be fried.
Needed to be fried. I'll eat it fried. And so they both start interrogating the owner. It's like the names. You know the names. And the owner's doing a full like holdout, like not giving information. New Cap, Captain Walker Captain.
Defiant.
Is we know
pure up Walker Booker.
Like we know they came through here. He's really kind of giving the business, and then the guy spits in his face. And New Cap,
like it's not even a good spit either. It's like oogie mouth COVID spit.
Yeah, it wasn't like a petit. It was like
it was wet. It was juicy.
Yeah. He really got he really got deep down. In the phlegm storage.
I want Kyle to do the sound effects for Disney from now on for this show.
And I've got the thumbnail for you for the you pick up here. I need to screen cap this for you. Screen cap the cap.
Okay, get this. So all of a sudden you see Cap, he's in Battlestar's face, and then he spits in Walker's face, New Cap, and then you see Walker, you see it in his eyes. He just snaps. So if you go back to episode 1, remember what I said, what U.S. agent's biggest flaw is his rage.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we see it's not our first, I want to say it's our second fundamental difference between Steve and John. It's very, very apparent here though. Like the last one was just a little nod.
Yeah.
This one is just, it's, quite literally in your face. It's in this dude's face. And you see him just snap. And U.S. agent, that's what he did, get anything done, any force necessary. While right. Steve was the diplomat.
Mm-hmm.
He would, he wouldn't hurt anyone unless he needed to.
Yeah.
John has no qualms about this.
And see, and that's good. There, you see, I know you're seeing it too. There's a lot of rage online and feedback from the nerd community as a whole, like how much man, we really hate this new cap. And it's not like now I don't like this new cap, but it's a different, like people just don't like any of it, and it's not the majority. There's, it's the large, loud, vocal minority that's, I don't like Walker and I don't like this new, and they're not liking the whole thing. You're not supposed to like him at this point right now.
No.
And there's a way, like, I like that I don't like him. And there's people that, then you get the online rage that hate that they don't like him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. I think what you, correct me if I'm wrong, what you're trying to say is they're trying to make him a character. He's the Steve replacement, but you're supposed to be angry about it because you're
Right.
supposed to be feeling what Sam and Bucky are feeling.
Right. And like,
Okay, that's that's what I thought you were going with that.
Yeah, you kind of get that group of people that are just angry about, like, I don't even want him on the show, and that kind of thing. Get him off that stuff. No,
of course,
he needs to be on the show.
Fanboys.
Yeah, he needs to be on the show, and we need to not like him, and that's a good thing. We need to embrace it. It's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hate to do this. I kind of like him. I mean, I think he's playing his character, how he's supposed to be played.
Right. And I like that.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I
mean,
okay
when he
to
shoves
like
the dude up against
like.
the wall, exactly. It's okay to feel. It's okay to have feels. I promise. You're no less of a man, no less of a woman. It's okay to have feels. What really shows the difference in this, though, besides just the snap, is, I know when we say the snap, it's not the Thanos snap. This is the I'm mentally unhinged snap.
The cap snap.
The cap snap. Cap snap. Oh, hit me, Cap. Literally. He pushes him against the wall, and I mean, he yells at the dude, "Do you know who I am?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, and I don't really care." He's like, "You Americans are brutes. You're bullies. That's who you guys are." And I think that all stems from Slakovia too. The fight with Ultron left that country a big hole. It's a crater.
Yeah.
And you don't really revisit it after there. And I think, and then there's all these people feeling abandoned by their government too after they come back. So I think this was just a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. And the Flag Smashers are the kind of the fuse. They're the catalyst.
You think this has been kind of mulling this over? Original Cap, new Cap. You think original Cap is how we, because we're both Americans here. We as Americans perceive ourselves in the global stage, and new Cap is how the rest of the world perceives us as Americans on the global stage.
I never thought of it that way, but yeah, I kind of think they do. I think that's pretty accurate. Like, just hot-headed, full of anger, big jawed, loud. Yeah, I think so. World police, like, you're wondering why New Cap is operating on foreign soil right now. My guess is, a deal with the government because they attacked U.S. soil. But
he's working with the GRC, so the GRC is probably an agency, is probably similar to the UN, and then he's, whatever, because he's U.S. military or U.S. government property or whatever, that's how he's able to work with them, but he's still probably having to work within a set of rules of engagement and stuff but yeah, that just kind of hit me up.
I agree with you. I agree with every part of that. So basically, Walker and Battlestar Hoskins are walking down the hall. They're just discussing what's going on. And, Lamar's like, "It's a waste of time. Let's go find him." And, Cap's like, "Heard anything from Langley?" She's funneling something from someone I can't see. And then Battlestar goes, listen, she's giving displaced people shelter and medicine. I think that line is very important because that's exactly what she's doing. She's
Right.
not a terrorist right now. What she's doing, I mean, she's
Right-
breaking
right
the
now.
law
Yeah.
right now. She
Right
break
now.
it. Well, okay, as of right now, and 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes into the show from 3 episodes, she's not a terrorist. She's
Not
breaking the
terrorist.
law.
He's like a
right now.
terror-ish. Yeah. Not an ish,
She's-
but an ish.
Oh, she definitely got terrorist vibe. She definitely
Yeah.
got the vibe.
Got some
But I don't know if
terrorist
you noticed
tendencies.
this. Terrorist tendencies. I can't even think of a clever word for that. So I don't know if you noticed this. When they're walking out, Battlestar has actually changed his uniform. It looks like a replica, a copy. Besides the bulletproof vest with the star on it, it looks like Cap's costume,
Mhm.
new Cap's costume. So they're really riding this, this whole Cap wave. They're trying,
Yeah.
just the government's really trying to push this. Like, we're a team.
Yeah. Team America.
And then, Walker's like, America.
Mm-hmm.
Walker's like, yeah, I know. And Battlestar's like, that kind of things creates loyalty. And it seems like Battlestar's kind of his Jiminy Cricket to me. I mean, he'll join the fight and he's loyal to him, but he's kind of like let's look at the opposite end of the quarter here.
Yeah.
Let's look at the other side.
Because this isn't the first time he's done
That's
that,
what it seems like to me. No, it's like the 3rd time he's done it.
Yeah. He's trying to rein it in a little bit. At the very beginning, he was like Walker's balance piece. Like when he was telling him to go out, he's like, "Oh man, you got this." Like kind of pep talking him up. So he's got a very defined purpose in this duo, and I'm trying to figure out if the defined purpose is natural through their friendship and working together, or if he's got somebody in his ear that we haven't seen yet. Yeah, that we haven't seen yet. There's some ulterior motives there. But I don't trust anything.
So I don't trust anything right now either. I'm not trusting. I think WandaVision's taught me not to trust anything.
We have trust issues,
especially if Marvel's doing it. Very important, I think, line here too is where Walker scoffs and says, Battlestar's like, we don't have any leads, and he said, so we bet on someone who's got a better hand. Who do you think he was referring to there? Do you think he was referring to Bucky and Sam?
I think so.
I think so too.
And it cuts right to Bucky and Sam, so that's like the obvious thing. Maybe it is. I'm just gonna go with that. That is. I'm not gonna overlook it.
I'm gonna go with that too. So we're in Berlin now. They're walking down the hall. It's obviously a prison. You see like a guard leading them. And Sam just looks nervous, and Bucky's like, I'm gonna go in alone. And so Sam starts, doing what Sam does, question him. And Bucky's, I think, train of thought is very logical at this point. He's like, you're an Avenger. You know how he feels about soups. And Sam's like, you know how he feels about, you as well. He, basically Sam's saying, you were his puppet. You were his killing puppet. And if you guys don't remember from Age of Ultron, Baron Zemo was, or it's just Zemo at this point, he was obsessed with Hydra. He wasn't part of Hydra, but he was obsessed with them. And he hated super soldiers. He hated Cap. He hated, the Winter Soldiers program, which is why he was, destroying it, why he destroyed it. He hates soups. He just hates soups.
There you go.
So Bucky goes in alone. Yeah, there you go. That's it in a nutshell.
There it is.
You know his motivation now.
Motivation.
Whoop.
Rocky Road.
So this guard, so this guard gets him in, and you see Zemo just sitting there with his, fingers in a very like diamond cutter, almost like for a DDP, but his face is covered by the shadow. And Bucky goes in to see him, and then Zemo starts speaking in Russian, and he starts saying "rusted," and you see his face come forward. I thought this was a cool scene. 17. And Bucky says, "These days are over." Do you remember what those words were in that order?
Those were his. I remember exactly what they called. Those were like his trigger, like to get him to activating.
Yep, his activation words.
Yeah.
So, which just a kind of a callback to that. Where was it? Once you get to Zemo's cell, so the music that's playing is a reprise of the Captain America Civil War music.
Okay.
The guy who created it, Henry Jackman, the composer, they had him come back for. He's the one who did the Falcon and the Winter Soldier score.
Oh, okay.
The opening that we see. So kind of just a cool little nod. And then, Bucky tells him these days are over, and Zemo's like, I know. So already from the get-go, you can see that Zemo's trying to push Bucky's buttons. Just from the get-go. And he's kind of looking at Bucky, and he's like, something's in there. I know who you are. I know what you are. A leopard just doesn't change its spots,
I think it's
and that's what he was going for.
They're having this, epic stare down, and the dialogue is epic, and they're staring at each other, and the whole time Zemo's in pajamas. I was watching as he's walking around the room. Yeah, I was watching as he's walking around the room. He's kind of trying to be intimidating and, get his one in on Bucky there. I was like, you're in pajamas. Like you woke him up from his little nap.
I think the only thing that I didn't notice that the only thing that would have made this less scary is if he was in like some sort of bear slippers, house shoes, bear claw slippers, walking around.
That would have been freaking great.
Yes.
That would have been some top tier Marvel humor that could have happened, maybe.
Right there.
But alas.
So, Zemo looks at him. Alas, it shall never be. Next thing you know, Zemo looks at Bucky and tells him it was never personal. And it wasn't with him. He's just cold and calculating. He tells him, you're a simple means to a necessary end, which shows nothing has changed for Zemo since Age of Ultron, since he got locked up.
Yeah. He's been sitting there stewing about it.
Yeah. For however many years it was. We know it was 5 years since the blip. So however many years since they imprisoned him.
He's probably been in there about 8.
I would probably say it's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah. That's just off the top of my head. I'm not going back and looking at dates, but we're going to say 8 years.
8 sounds great. 8.
Yeah.
8.
8 is great.
Is great.
We're probably wrong, so you guys correct us. I'm fine with it.
I'm good with it.
I'm good. Close enough for me.
Good. Close enough for television. And he tells, Bucky tells him, hey, there's new super soldiers running around. And you see Zemo just kind of, something clicks on his head. And he's like, you're assuming Hydra has something to do with this. And, Zemo, like I said, Zemo's very smart.
Yeah.
He puts everything together. He's like, which means you need me, means you're desperate. And he's like, hey, great. I know where to go.
Yeah.
And cut to the dark, and you see flashlights. So this is us in Labyrinth last night.
That game, man.
And then you see I know. Then you see Sam going, "What do you mean?" You hear him. It's dark except for these flashlights. And you hear, what do you mean you want to break Zemo out of jail?
Mm-hmm. So this is when
it basically.
Bucky just starts laying out the plan. Like, hypothetically, what if he was to get out, and what if this was to happen? He's like, this is rhetorical. We're rhetorical. We're not going to do this. But like, say a friend of mine wanted to break Zemo out of prison. It's basically like where this was.
That's what it is.
And Sam's against it.
Oh,
adamantly against it.
Well, and then just right before then, this is an important part too for later in the show. It's where he says he blew up the UN. He King T'Chaka and framed you for it. And then he looks at Bucky and he says, "Did you forget that? Do you think the Wakandans forgot about it?"
Mm-hmm.
It's a rhetorical question. They didn't. Remember that line. Yep. Okay, go ahead, Kyle.
And I'm just now getting a copy. You said that, so this is where Bucky says, let me just walk you through hypothetical, because he said we have to find out. We don't know how many super soldiers there are. We have to find the source of the serum. And then he says, Zemo can help. And this is hypothetical. If he were to get out,
how would he do
this is probably how he would do it. And then it cuts back to them in the cell.
Mm-hmm. And he asks him what book he's reading.
Yeah, it's Machiavelli.
Do you know why that's important?
Roughly, like that's. Did he fake his own death?
So Machiavelli, Zemo's the most Machiavellian character in the comics, because he's known to use his powers to of deception and and he does the trickery-ish. He's trickish.
Yeah.
Not turns tricks, but trickery. And he plays all sides.
Right.
And it's an equation to him. It's a means to the end. So that's why it's just kind of a little nod to that.
Yeah.
They said Disney's smart, just throwing in just random stuff.
So Bucky continues on, like explain, like if I was going to get him out, or somebody was going to break him out, this is how it'd be. There's this ratio of guards to prisoners that they have to keep if something happens. Say 2 prisoners start fighting, then 4 guards have to respond because you have 2 on 1.
Do you remember what he grabbed from his book as his bookmark?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah. That was important just before they they start talking about the prisoner ratio. Like this is
see, he's got the book open. He looks at the book. What is that? What is his
And he
bookmark?
slides the bookmark out. He slides the bookmark out, puts it in his pocket.
Is that a key?
That's a key card for the doors.
So he's had the key card. Okay, I was wondering where he got. Yeah, because we see later.
Yep.
Okay, so that's where that came from. I didn't realize that's what that was. So he already had a key card.
Okay, go ahead.
Bucky drops a little rolled up piece of paper to 2 prisoners playing chess. The note's in German. It says, Sam asks, like, okay, well, before that, Bucky, brings up, like, if 2 prisoners start fighting, and says, like, well, why would 2 prisoners randomly start fighting at this moment? And like, it could be lots of reasons. You never know. And the little note, he just found the 2 guys playing chess, and the note says, he will kill you tonight. Kill him first. And that's all they needed for a spark to go off. So fight breaks out. This escalates into full on riot because, that's the prison fight trope. 2 guys fight, the whole prison's going to fight. Lockdown procedure
2 prisoners fight, 1 prisoner leaves.
Yep. And Zemo starts making his way out. He has a guard there. He grabs his guard. Excuse me here. My phone's still doing that thing I was telling you about this morning. We're just going to get a million notifications
really?
at once. Yeah. Zemo snatches a guard, pulls him away, and goes into undercover mode, undercover Zemo, and starts this process to blend in. He uses his key card.
Undercover Zemo.
Yeah.
Sounds like the worst show ever, like Undercover Boss.
This week on Undercover Zemo. Zemo's a prison guard. Watch him escape. But he uses that key card he had
This week on Zemo
that he had in the book, and starts making his way out. It just shows how crafty, quick, smart, and pretty agile Zemo is, because the fight with the guard, he did well. And so as Bucky's explaining all,
I would go and say, after watching this, that Zemo is genius level intellect.
yeah, he's very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart dude.
And cunning.
And so as Bucky, this is in a way Bucky explaining all this to Sam.
It's all hypothetical.
Yeah, it's all hypothetical, and Sam's like, really
It's
don't
all
like
hypothetical.
how you're being so casual about this. And they're back in the garage. See,
I love what Sam's like, you're being so calm about this. Then Sam just realized, where are we?
yeah, that never even
He's
got brought
calm
up.
until he goes, where are we? Yes. I like that part. Okay, go ahead.
I know. I was right at that part. I had to watch it again, and then that just goes to like the buddy cop action feel that the show really has. Like that fits that genre, that line really well. And you see a silhouette of a prison guard clothed figure approaching, and hey, it's Zemo. Hey, it's Zemo.
Hey, it's Zemo. Oh, Bucky.
But they would transition to like WandaVision style, like sitcom, and it was
yes. Hey,
Yeah.
it's Zemo.
like the, and so Sam's pissed. What
Who's
is
always escaping prison?
Sam pointed something at him. I thought it looked like a pistol, but it wasn't. Sam had a flashlight. Never mind. Wait. That's a they messed
What?
up, because like right as Zemo walks in, you see Sam get pissed. And never mind. He does. He switches to the other hand. Never mind. I see him. He switched the flashlight over, or whatever he was holding.
Yeah. Yep. What is that?
It looked like maybe a flashlight. But
It's a mag light.
They start arguing, and I like how Zemo like tries to interject, and they're both like pointing. They're like, "No." He's like, "Apologies." He's like, puts his head down.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, apologies.
He's just awkwardly standing
sorry.
there, watching as these two argue it out. Just off to the side.
He says, "You're right. Apologies. Sorry. My bad."
And he just keeps trying to interject. He's like, "I really think I'm invaluable." And they're like, "Shut up."
Shut up. I think it's great because Bucky's having this serious speech with Sam. It's like how you stuck your neck out for Steve. I'm asking you to, and you stuck your neck out for me. I'm asking you to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
It's this real serious conversation, and then it's like you said, the buddy cop feel is when Zemo keeps trying to talk and they keep yelling at him.
Yeah.
It's to me, this is almost Lethal Weapon.
Oh yeah. Maybe with a little Die Hard thrown in, just because you have.
Except for the bionic arm.
Well, I was thinking Zemo more like
It's
more of a Hans
Zemo.
Gruber kind of.
Yeah, I could see that. Or the Pickle Man.
I like how Sam just gets like, there's this whole thing where they're playing it off like they don't trust each other. They don't want to work together, but they always end up giving in to the other one's ideas.
Yep, 100%.
Sam's kind of like, okay, where do we go from here?
Which shows they're not necessarily bros, but they have a healthy respect for each other.
They do. They have a budding broship.
that they'll never admit.
A very
That they'll never
very
admit.
budding
out loud.
broship.
I like their broship.
So then we finally get the title card, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And now we're in looks like Jay Leno's garage, maybe. With
All you see is a chin hiding from one of the cars.
It's the chin.
It's the chin.
And so like Zemo's going through all of his...
I don't know if you noticed his patch, like the patch on the guard's uniform, or the name of the prison. I'm guessing it's the prison. So I paused it just right as he's pulling out his jacket from the car. Do you see what the patch says?
is it German for justice? So is it like the Justice Department? Justice?
No, I think he shops at Justice, that teenage girl store. It says Justice all over it.
I walked right into that.
Zemo shops at Justice.
No, it's better than like Forever 21. Or
Forever Super Soldier.
But he does find his master person, so he probably also shops at Hot Topic. That's a very
Justice and Hot Topic.
very edgy Zemo. Like my Zemo's a little bit of edge on him.
He's on. Oh. And while he's going shopping, they give him Jolly Ranchers. So it's Jolly Ranchers and Zemo.
I'm done.
Thank you. I'll be here also week.
I wish I spoke some German because I could have a lot more fun with this.
Jolly Ranchers. Yeah, Jolly Ranchers and Zemo.
I can just yell a lot of things that sound vaguely German. So
Hot Topic.
Hot Topic. And so he's going through his cards. So he's got like stuff stashed, everywhere. There's like guns in one. There's a backpack or a bag in another one. Then he finds his mask just like casually, laying on the seat of another car. He gets his cool overcoat thing back with the fuzzy collar. So he's feeling good again. He's got his shit back. And
so it's important to note on this.
This
is comic accurate. This is very comic accurate.
Okay, fill us in on that a little
His
bit more.
His mask and what he's wearing.
Okay.
So it's just the mask and the jacket. If you go look up what he looks like in the comics and what he looks like here, or that mask, that purple mask, that like almost like a ski mask, except it has its a shape. It looks like the comic. The difference being the reason he wore it in the comic is because when he fought Captain America, he got horribly burned. So he hit his face.
Now he just has a mask because it's cool.
Okay, go. Yeah, because it looks really awesome, to be honest with you.
What I noticed too, like it looks like it looks like a ski mask, right? Until he picks it up, and there's actually a mask under there with that over it. It's not just like he's pulling on the purple ski mask. That cloth is over an actual hard physical mask that's on there, which is kind of cool.
It's from Baron Zemo's paper mache company.
And then they leave to board a private jet.
Kyle goes,
Paper mache, And this is when we start figuring out, like, Zemo's actually, like, Baron Zemo is actually a baron.
A baron.
Like, he's got some money.
He explains he was royalty until Sokovia got destroyed. And with this, boys and girls, Baron Zemo has entered the MCU as canon. Before it was just Zemo.
Yep. Now he's Baron Zemo.
So
now was that
Baron Zemo.
Remind me a little bit. Is there any retconning going on with this, or was it just never mentioned? Like,
it just
was
never was mentioned. I mean, yeah, this is it was never mentioned, but I think this is pure retcon because they didn't mention that he was a Baron, so I think that they're fixing their mistake from there.
Was it a mistake, or was it just left? They could have just left it like that so they could actually introduce him as that later. And so it wasn't like...
And who knows with Marvel?
Yeah.
Who knows with Marvel? They do things intentionally. But then again, there's other things that they don't do intentionally, like Blue Jeans guy from Mandalorian.
That was Disney. That was more Disney than those guys. You can't pin that one on Marvel.
I will. They're the same company.
They're all one.
Okay.
Okay, so they're on the plane. This is when they find out, that, oh yeah, he's got some money. His flying butler, well, not a flying butler, but his butler while they're...
Wait, did you call him the Flying Butler?
He's the butler while they're flying.
No. From here on out, Baron Zemo's butler is the Flying Butler. Flying Butler!
Flying Butler!
The things of the future!
Yeah. So we took a little break there, and you guys didn't even know anything. Well, you wouldn't have known if I wouldn't have said anything just now.
Well, guess what, people?
Right.
I really don't have anything. I'm just telling you, guess what, people?
So we were at the Flying Butler. I thought this was kind of neat because they talk about like, oh, we didn't know you had money, and then the butler's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, the refrigerator
champagne's a little warm, yeah,
in the jet, freaking private jet is down. Like problems,
like it's nothing,
like beyond first world problems. Like, oh, my in-flight champagne is warm. Like, holy shit, we made it.
Like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then I think this is just a little clever nod to, they're sitting in the jet like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And Zemo opens up his little book. And in it is Bucky's little book that says Nakajima, Holben. It's his little book he's been carrying around for the people that he's trying to make amends to.
Yeah, how did he get that?
Which means this Baron Dickmo is going around pickpocketing people and using stuff as bookmarks.
He's a level 10 pickpocket.
He is. He's like a rogue with like a +6 for like stealth and like a +5 for pickpocket.
Yeah.
And he's probably got like a +15 for backstab.
I bet he was a shithead little kid.
I bet he was a shithead little kid.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it. Pickpocketing things.
Hey, look, Baron Dickmo. So, okay, go ahead. But okay, well, they're talking about the book, and he goes, I don't know what to call it, but this part seems important. And he's like, who is Nakajima? And he takes the book out. It's almost like flaunting it in front of Bucky.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't about so much, what's going on in this book. It was like, hey, look what I got. I was able to, lift this off of you. And so that's part of his mind games. He was reading something too. I want to see if I can see what that book was that he was reading.
Is it his Machiavelli book?
No, I don't think it is. It
was in German.
Yeah. I
bet it was. I bet he smuggled it out in his underwear or his prison wallet.
Yeah. If you don't know what that is, look that up.
Watch Deadpool 2
while you're at work. So
and Deadpool 2 and Godzilla versus Kong, which at the time of this recording, Kyle would be watching tonight with his son.
Hopefully.
No, and you will, so we can discuss it. Damn it!
And it's great that timing. Did you time it like that on purpose? Bringing that up.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Yeah, I totally. So yeah,
it worked out pretty good, didn't it? I've got good timing sometimes.
And so they, before we even get to that, shit, where he was talking about Trouble Man. When did that come up?
No, Trouble Man's after this.
Yeah, so
because
Bucky tells him, "I'll kill you. Give me the book."
Because you look at the book, yeah. So, yeah, because it was after this part. Because then that's when Sam recognizes the book.
Yeah, so it was Steve's when he came out of the ice. He's like, and I told him about Trouble Man, and he wrote it in the book.
And if you remember back to our episode 1, you and I discussed, hey, that's kind of like what Steve did.
Mm-hmm.
But now we know it's actually Steve's book.
Exactly, Steve's book, yeah.
So,
And so,
Kyle and I are really tired. We're
so tired. We usually record these late at night. We're recording this early in the morning after little to no sleep last night.
Literally no sleep last night.
I'm chugging energy drinks and whatever.
I just asked Mrs. Guyver to bring me in a Coke, which I'm not normally a big fan of, but I'm like, I need some sugar.
And then she brought you a Coke.
And she brought me a Coke.
And so, but Sam asked Bucky, like, did you listen to Troll Man? And he's like, I like 40s music. And he's like, you didn't like it. He's like, I liked it.
This is a great scene. This is a great scene.
Zemo's like, it's a masterpiece, James. Complete, comprehensive.
And what he says. No, read exactly line for line what he says.
It captures the African American experience. and the way Sam looks at him, he's like, what? He's out of line. He's right. But he's out of line.
So you have the whitest guy possible, like who embodies the whitest things possible.
Mm-hmm.
Rich, aristocratic,
snobby.
Talking about what the African American embodiment is. Perfect.
Yeah. And I think it's so funny that Sam's just like, well, he's right. He's out of line.
But he's right.
He's right.
You can tell Sam did not want to admit he was right.
Mm-mm. No, I thought that was so funny.
Because Baron Dick is a murdering fuckhead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
right. Like, are they going to all buddy up after all this, or
I don't know?
We're going to have it's like Zemo going to turn not as bad guy.
That's just it's the Falcon, the Winter Soldier, and Zemo.
Yeah,
that's
Zemo,
me.
That's me. They're explaining like Zemo is a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy.
Bad guy. Oh god, are they gonna turn into like the new Venture Brothers?
Oh, that'd be great.
Go Team Venture! I am the Bat.
So you got pretentious Zemo. You got.
Oh, he'd be Baron Underbite.
Hmm. I hope that we need a petition for this to happen. I know Zemo's probably going to be killed.
No, Zemo's not who we need. It's Zemo who we have to have.
Yeah. Not the hero we deserve or want. This is the hero we're going to get.
It's just like our podcast. It's just like our podcast. It's not
the end of all
this. It's not the one you want.
It's not going to be Bucky, and it's not going to be Sam. Zemo is new Captain America.
It's just Zemo. Actually, I want to say he had Steve's shield for a time in the comics.
Really?
It's one of those nagging. I can't remember, but it's one of those nagging things that you get.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you talk. I'm gonna look this up.
Okay, so Zemo goes into this long monologue about why he has a disdain for superheroes, super soldiers, and how it kind of leads in his mind to the downfall of society. That the superheroes and super soldiers, they get put up on pedestals, become symbols, become icons. Then we look at all the good and great things that we do, that we totally neglect their flaws. We just look over that. They're doing all these great things, so we're not really going to pay attention to the bad shit. And then he said, from there, cities fly, innocent people die, movements are formed, and wars are fought. And so he's kind of summing up a lot of the events of the prior movies and some of the things that are going on right now, just in a really short couple of sentences. And then he looks at Bucky and he says, like, you remember this. You know, you fought in Germany against a man that was put upon a pedestal. And he says, you know, do we want to live in a world full of people like the Red Skull? And he said,
Okay.
and that's. Did you find it?
Yes, and so he didn't have his shield, but in the comics he had a sword that was made out of the same material as Cap's shield.
Okay.
So where is it? He's got he's in the comics he's a gifted scientist, combatant, and athlete, kept unnaturally young through the use of a formula known as Compound X. You know what gave life to the Powerpuff Girls.
Yes.
And his aging is his only power per se, but he is super manipulative and, you know, genius level, and he's an engineer and a skilled manipulator, which makes him extremely dangerous. That's why I was saying earlier that he's the most Machiavellian character in the MCU, because he has all that, and his helmet has circuitry to protect him from mental control, i.e., mutant.
Bum, bum, bum.
Like Magneto. Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
Sorry, but I found it. So I was wrong, but that's where I thought it was.
And so he just kind of he gives his, you know, he finds a way to shoehorn in his beliefs or why he does what he does, and then he just like, and that's where we're going to Madripoor.
Okay, so when you were talking about that, when he was giving his beliefs about putting him on the pedestal,
yeah,
did you find yourself agreeing with him? I sure did.
I did. Yeah,
well, a lot of
mostly because of New Cap.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it. Well, and it's like,
and the boys, but anyway,
and it all comes back to the boys. Ever since I got Kyle watching the boys and reading the comic. Did you read any of that yet?
I haven't picked up the second volume yet. So I mean, I have it, but I haven't started reading it yet.
Gotcha. Okay, so it rang true to me when he was given the speech. Like, I think he's absolutely right. We put these icons, these symbols on pedestals, and this is what happens. You put all their trust in them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they become something that they're not meant to be.
This series is making us connect more with the bad guys than we have in a while. Like,
I agree.
Flag Smashers, I'm like, up to this point, I'm like, they're not, that's not that bad. Like, they're giving medicine and shelter to people that aren't getting it. Zemo's talking about, you know, keeping your heroes in check, and that we don't. Like, maybe they're not all that bad for now.
And again, I completely agree with that. Completely.
You know, I mean, and like, I'm going to assume, just like, because you see like this before, where not just Marvel, but, you know, happens DC, happens anything where they try to get you to relate. You relate with the villain. You relate with the bad guys. Like, I can understand that. You know, it happens with Joker. It happens with Mr. Freeze. It happens with, you know, like all these. Like, they had a pretty valid reason. Like, they weren't just being, you know, tyrannical, villainous dickheads for no reason. Like, they had a good reason. They just went a little further than most people would have.
And I think you're absolutely right. I think it's because they are humanizing them.
Yep. I like that. I mean, they did, you know, Fox did the same thing with the X-Men with Magneto. Magneto's typically your bad guy. He's your ultimate villain. But there's so many times to that run that he wasn't. He was like the anti-villain. You have your anti-hero.
Yeah.
So maybe we're seeing some more anti-villain stuff. I like that. I like that idea. What a bad guy I can relate to.
And as much as I hate to admit it, that's exactly what Marvel's doing right now.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
But you don't want to, as growing up as little kids, you didn't want to like the bad guy.
No.
You wanted to like the good guy. And I think that's for me is, the quintessential comic nerd, the little fanboy.
That's what you remember. It was cut and dry.
Yeah,
That this bad guy was a bad guy. Like, that's it.
It was black and white.
Yeah.
Completely. There's no gray middle. This is how much the comics and everything's evolved. Like you were saying, is it's gray now. It's not black and white anymore. There is a fine gray area.
Yeah.
And it's nuts right now.
I mean, we don't even on both sides. You don't have very many just cut and dry good guy heroes anymore. Cap was probably the last one that we had that there's very few instances where he kind of even came close to flirting with the line of going the other way. All the others they've got some pretty good flaws and bad things that happen. Sam's done pretty good. Bucky, who's just bouncing back and forth across the line through his whole timeline. He's on the good side. But, even Black Widow, Hawkeye, all of them meander around that line back and forth. And I think, where Cap was probably the last pure good hero.
There's a reason they called Cap the Boy Scout.
Mm-hmm.
Language.
Yeah.
Right there.
And even going back and talking about the villains and stuff, I'm trying to think of any of the villains that were just pure evil for the sake of evil, and we had no, like, even Thanos. There
Ultron.
Ultron, yeah, but he was likable
because he's got no strings on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I think you're absolutely right. It's
like even Thanos, the baddest of the baddies that we've seen so far.
He had a redeeming story. There's a reason he wanted to do stuff.
There was a reason for it, and when you heard him talk about it and explain it, and thinking about it from his side, it made sense. Like it was a terrible thing, but
he's a murderous dickhead.
Yeah, he's got a 2 to 1 kill death ratio, but he's
but so be it.
Or actually be like a 5 billion to 1. Anyway, yeah.
We're not good at math. Have we told you guys that?
Yeah. Thanos, great stats. But
just don't ask for a green card.
So yeah, so where were you going with that? I kind of rambled a bit there. But,
no, you didn't want. That's what we do. No, I was just saying that's what's tough for me is they're really, really humanizing these villains.
Mm-hmm.
And before there was humanizing Zemo, but not to like. They're making him more relatable and likable now.
Okay.
And I that's what I'm having a hard time with right now. Like I love it. I love the way that they're doing it. But again, it's just as the fanboy growing up, you have villains, you have the good guys, you have the bad guys. It's black and white. That's what the old nerd in me is just trying to struggle with a little bit. It's not like it's not stopping me from anything.
So we've talked about this before. This run of movies, going back to Iron Man and then coming up to where we are now with the shows, and you said like they're doing this right now. There have been superhero movies in the past,
right?
Even the old Superman movies, and those were good. But they're doing it right now. But I think back to the old superhero shows and movies and things that I've seen, and from what I remember, one of the things that stayed really true to like what you're talking about. Bad guy was bad guy, good guy was good guy, cut and dry down the middle. There was no conflict, whatever.
Right.
And now we've got and even you see like some of those old movies, not very good. Some of those shows, not really good. Even with the nostalgia, still not very good. And so is that little facet, like what we're talking about now, part of the secret sauce that's making these movies so good and so popular now? Is they've strayed away from that traditional good guy, bad guy, cut and dry, here's the line, to
Right.
now we have this conflict that, man, I really don't want to like the bad guy, but I see where he's coming from.
But now I kind of do.
That make it more engaging and that much.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, I'm absolutely with you.
You just want a good bad guy. You just want a bad guy that you can hate for the sake of hating right now. That's what Chris needs. If Marvel's listening, give him somebody. This is just pure evil.
Actually, you're not wrong.
You're
not wrong at all. I want a bad guy I can just hate.
Mm-hmm.
You're not wrong.
I bet we'll get one.
I bet we will too.
I mean, we had Director Dick. Anyway.
Right. Oh yeah, Director Dick. Yeah, no, you're right. I absolutely hated him.
And so every time you start to feel a little bit like, oh, I don't want to like this bad guy, and you're having that moment of torn feelings about all this, just think of Director Dick.
I cannot wait until we come up with the description for this show, for this episode of this Nerkie, because Chris and Kyle discussed Dick.
Mm-hmm.
And how they want bad Dick, not good Dick.
Mm-hmm. Give us some bad Dick, damn it.
We're getting too much good Dick.
We get way too much good Dick. Give us some of that bad Dick.
Yeah, we want that bad Dick. Shit.
Maybe we should do more of these sleep deprived. I mean, we're going to have 8 hours.
Maybe we should. Damn it, we're funny.
I'm laughing.
I am too.
It was that bad Dick.
You go, girl.
I'm going to buy you a 3x5 print of Director Dick framed, so you can put it on your desk. So every time if you start to get worked up at like, I don't want to like this villain, you just have to look at that little dick pic I sent you, framed.
You're gonna send me a little dick pic, huh?
Little dick pic. For you guys that don't get that joke that we've been driving to the ground for the last 5 minutes, we're talking about Director Hayward from WandaVision. We kept forgetting his name.
Yeah, you guys need to go listen to our Nerkies on WandaVision, which honestly, if you're listening to this, you have been listening to our Nerkies.
Probably. This recap came in. We kept forgetting his name, and so we just referred to him as Director Dick because he was.
Because he was a huge dick.
He was a huge dick. He wasn't just a dick. He's a dick.
He's a dick.
A big old dick. Just laid out there.
Chris and Kyle want that bad dick.
He was that bad dick.
Kyle's gonna send Chris a dick pic.
Now we're through beating
with
the
our
dick
jokes. I see what you did there.
I had to slide one more in. Okay, so
you're just rubbing me raw here.
Oh God. All right, let's pull out from this and go on to this. I can't anymore.
We're rubbing this dry.
Yeah, slip one more in, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
And this is why we're two 30 to 40 something year olds who will still laugh at dick jokes.
Yeah, the sense of humor of a 13-year-old junior high kid.
I love you.
Wiener.
I'm crying right now. I'm literally crying. Okay. We're going on. So he's talking about Bucky. We're Madripoor. So we're in Madripoor.
Well, he makes this what you almost segued into earlier. When Sam's like, "Well, what's up with Madripoor?" You talk about it like it's. When I said like that's a perfect segue for what we're about to talk about 30 minutes ago, but
You're right.
But Sam's like, "What's
Okay.
up with Madripoor?" And he's like, "You talk about it like it's Skull Island."
Which was awesome, an awesome reference because that's not even a
100%
Disney property.
on purpose. It's a Marvel property though, right? Does it Marvel have Kong or Godzilla? Marvel owns one or two or both.
I thought they owned Godzilla. Let's look.
Okay, so you look. So while you're looking, I'm going to push us forward a little bit here.
Go.
So he's like,
never finish.
he's like, you talk about it like it's Skull Island.
Oh, they do own King Kong. They own King Kong.
So so King Kong is now canon in some shape or form in the Marvel Universe, whether it's the movies or the actual Skull Island. I doubt it's the actual Skull Island. It's probably just the movies. One can hope. We get some cool
I know. I
fights.
think you're right because they lost the rights to Godzilla. So it's King Kong that they own the rights to.
Yeah.
So there we go.
At the very least,
great
the
reference.
King Kong movies, at least the movies are canon in the universe. Not necessarily King Kong himself is going to be, he's trapped on Skull Island somewhere in this, and then we're just not hearing about it. I'm going to say it's probably just the movies. It's a cool little nod. I don't think anything will come out of it. But then they describe Madripoor as basically like this pirate sanctuary originally from the 1800s. It's
and we've seen Madripoor has been teased the first 2 episodes.
So explain to everyone the significance of Madripoor.
So, okay.
You can do it better than I can.
So if you look at Madripoor was in the ending credit scenes, that's where that purple monkey, like bearing its fangs, its teeth. That's Madripoor. And then remember how we said, oh, look, it's saying Madripoor kind of like real quick. Madripoor is the last of the great lawless areas in Marvel Comics. Like literally there are rules there, but they're criminal rules. It's ruled by the underworld. It's ruled by the people in the shadows. Wolverine spent so much time there as Patch. It has like Madripoor always comes up when you need something shady done. You go to Madripoor. Again, like you were saying, like they were explaining, it's it was a pirate safe haven in the 1800s. Well, it's pretty much still a pirate haven now, just for modern day pirates. And they had a saying in the comics, if you need anything, you go to Madripoor. Literally, if you need anything, like they dealt with, like alien tech. You could get, you could buy mutants there. You could get slave trade of mutants there. You could do anything. And it always centered around the Princess Bar is where Wolverine frequented.
And was part owner, correct?
I believe he was part owner. And then I forget there was a main bartender there. It's like Madam something, I think. I have to go look it up again, but she was always a big part of it. But Wolverine was Patch when he was in his little outlaw phase. So Madripoor is a huge part of the Marvel canon, Marvel universe.
His contact defense that he mentioned, what was her name was shit.
Gabby?
No, it wasn't Gabby. It was who Zemo.
Yeah, no, I can't remember her name right now.
I'll find it. Explain that.
She's a mid-level fence. Selby, that's right.
Selby in the comics is a what, Chris? Do you know?
No, I didn't. I was trying to remember that. I couldn't. I knew that it's one of those, the name clicked, but I couldn't remember anything about it.
Selby's a mutant in the comics.
Really? What's her powers in the comic?
I think it was to be able to influence like computers and electronics, like she could control.
She's a technomancer.
There you go. That's a cool name too.
Yeah, yeah. No, she's a technomancer then. Okay.
So
okay. So she could talk to machines.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a pewter whisperer.
I didn't know that. Okay, awesome.
I didn't know that. I was like, okay, she's got to be important, and I was digging through some
Yeah.
stuff and found
No,
out.
I mean,
oh,
you
she's a
found it, dude.
mutant.
No, you knew it. You found it.
So we had some mutant references in WandaVision with Pietro. Now we have Selby being talked about, who's also a mutant. We're going to Madripoor, which is heavy X-Men side, just because of the Wolverine patch influence. We're getting mutants sometime soon.
It's coming. I don't know how. I don't know when. Well, I mean, we have mutants. Hello, WandaVision.
Yeah.
But
Wanda and Pietro.
Yeah. And God damn it, they better bring him back. Because his name's Boner. But no, I know where you're going with this. I mean, and I agree with you. They announced the movie called The Mutants. And it's supposed to center around, they've already hinted it's supposed to center around Charles and Moira McTaggart.
Okay.
So, but they also hinted that, that just may be like a catalyst.
I like that it's not a super fancy name. It's not something over the top. It's just the mutants.
I wanted it to be like Spanish, like the Mutantes.
El Mutantes.
El Mutantes. Okay.
That's probably not even translating right.
No, it's not. We're
Spanish
just totally
friends.
We're just making up shit.
So we're in Latvia.
Latvia. Welcome to Latvia.
And so you got the kids playing soccer or football, because we do have, over the seas listeners now. I'm sorry, it's football.
Yeah. Football. What is this place? Most importantly, that's where you got to set it up.
It's the GRC Resettlement Camp. So this is one of the camps that the Flag Smashers has been attempting to resupply, trying to help out because they don't feel like they're getting enough help.
So on this part here, they cut, they're all sitting outside, and like, it's kind of like a little shanty, like what you see when you're on TV or like documentaries, like in Europe, like sort of the poorer parts, But if you look there, you see all these people washing their clothes, and there's a little crappy clothes hanger out there. They're washing their clothes in a metal tub outside, which shows you how bad this is.
The courtyard scene. So if you go back to when it has the GRC Resettlement Camp pulled up, so go back to, it's like 14 even.
Okay.
And so they're in Latvia, but in the back, in this little courtyard, there's a statue. You see the statue?
Yeah.
Looks like he's holding a
trident. Is that Namar? Oh, it looks like he's also holding himself too. Or is that supposed to be like Poseidon?
I don't know. I just now saw that, and I figured if I pointed it out to you to get your wheels turning.
I wonder if that could be Namar. Yeah, I wonder if, because that could be Namar, the Submariner, or Namar, Namor, however you want to pronounce it. I call it Namar.
Yeah.
Because I'm fancy. He was widely considered the first mutant in Marvel. Good catch, sir.
Yep, I just a little thing there. I don't know if that's is he holding a fish? He might have been holding a fish.
It could just be a fishing village. Holding himself.
He's sitting there, just got his cod hanging out. You gonna make it?
I don't know. That was really good. You were setting that one up. Yeah, that was really good.
That was a long play on that one. It took a little bit.
It was, but you got it. You got it. So, okay, they're washing their laundry with no one's cods hanging out because the guy washing it's an old guy, so I don't think he can get his cod out. But they're washing, and again, this just shows you how bad this is. Like, they were hinting at how bad it was, these little resettlement camps. But this is like FEMA bad. FEMA after Katrina bad.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, once you started
Give
seeing
him
all this,
enough to survive, really.
and that's what it is. And I didn't even recognize who was playing soccer with them was Carly. Did
Mhm.
you?
Yeah, I saw her hair. That hair is unmistakable.
Yeah,
Unmistakable.
it is. It is. Yeah, you're right. But I thought it was just another little kid, but it was Carly.
Nope. It's funny if she would they would have kicked it and she would just like kick the piss out of it with her super soldier.
She goes, "Here, Billy, catch." Okay, where's Billy? And there's a Billy-sized shaped hole in the wall.
Billy's not in Latvia anymore. I can tell you that.
Wyman, Kansas.
So she gets word.
It's a. You got something to say?
No, I was just still laughing after that because now we're going to a serious scene. I can get my laughs out because it involves somebody, dying.
Yeah, no, yeah. But so at this part here, once you start seeing this, I remember I turned to Mrs. Guyver and I looked at her and I go, maybe they're not, the Flag Smashers aren't so bad. Look at how shitty this is.
Yeah.
Just trying to bring them supplies.
And you're angry because you're having confused feelings about the bad guys again.
I am angry because I'm having confused feelings about the bad guy again. I have villain identity confusion.
Vic.
I've got Vic. Or Vic. No, Vic. It'd be Vic.
You got a bad case of the Vicks.
I got Vicks. Mm-hmm. I got the bad case of the Vicks. So, all right, go ahead.
Oh, and so she gets word that basically they just tell her, that they don't say who, but she gets word that obviously somebody she cares about is not doing well, and that she needs to go be by her side because that's what she would want. We see her walking through the camp, through the building. There's a little close up of an EKG machine, and then a close up of the Flag Smashers logo, insignia, whatever, on a pennant. And I can't tell if Harley's holding it or if the lady who she's with is holding it. But she's obviously emotionally distraught. She's laying at her bedside crying. She tells her, she's sorry. I'm
sorry.
This lady's looking kind of pale and clammy. She's slipping away. She's going to die. That's just the scene, And we don't find out just right. Like, we know that she's super important to Carly. We don't know who she is yet.
Right.
That's important. Keep a pin in that. And now we cut to Cyberpunk in Night City.
Cyberpunk in Night City.
Madripoor. That's the first thing I thought when I saw this. Not this scene because they're walking across the bridge.
No. What, over the water, the drone footage.
Yeah, well, when they actually get into the city itself and you see more of it.
You know what? So to me, it kind of looked like, I get that. I also like Dubai or like Singapore. That you'd see the really expensive, rich cities.
Yeah. It seemed more of a an Asian influenced metropolis than what we see here stateside, because of all. It's not just a bright city; it's a bright city with a lot of colors. And so you see your typical nighttime shots of New York City, LA, wherever, where you have all these big high rises. It's bright, it's just lights. You don't have a lot of color. Mm-hmm. You don't have a lot of the neons on a large scale. You're gonna have those down the street level and stuff. But when they show the cool modern art looking bridge going into Madripoor, you see the shot of the skyline, and there's your neon pinks and your blues and greens and yellows and oranges and stuff. It's very cool looking.
And your light purples.
Light purple.
And then as they're starting to walk across the bridge, I love this scene. Bucky is dressed like the Winter Soldier again, his arms out. Zemo is in his Zemo coat. Mm-hmm. And then Sam goes, we have to fix this. I'm the only one who looks like a pimp, and I died at that one. It is a very flashy outfit. And the arch on the bridge, that bridge was amazing.
Yeah. That's a real bridge somewhere. I want to find out where, because that looks cool.
It does. Okay, so Zima goes, you look exactly like the man you're supposed to be playing. Sophisticated, charming African rake named Conrad Mack, aka the Smiling Tiger. And I lost it at that part. Smiling Tiger is a classic villain of the New Warriors who fought the New Warriors a lot. Go look up the Smiling Tiger. He has one of the coolest costumes ever. One of his fatal flaws was he was feral. Like he could not. He couldn't function in normal society, and like he had like super sharp claws. And he was a badass.
So he was like an actual tiger, like he.
It
wasn't just a clever name.
No, like look up the Smiling Tiger. Like his costumes is pretty awesome.
So I like how Sam's like, well, he does look like me though. So that's the second time that Zemo said something that like Sam wants to be pissed off about.
Yep,
but he can't because well, he's right. Like when he was talking about the song before, he's like, he's out of line, but he's right. He's like, what do I look like? Okay, well, he does kind of look like me though, but he has a terrible nickname. Like he just, I'm loving the Sam Zemo dynamic right now. It's also cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. But do you think that had to have been a picture of Anthony Mackie? Don't you think? The picture that they did, and they just had him as the Smiling Tiger.
I don't know.
I kind of think it looks like him. I mean, they only show it for like a second, so it's really hard to tell, but I think it kind of does.
I don't think that's him in the picture. I'm looking here. You can see a better close up of the picture. It looks a lot like him, but I don't think it's him.
You don't think it's him?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you're probably right. So, and he goes, someone goes, who was it that said, was it Zemo who said, you smell this? And he's like, yeah, what is it? Acid? And then Zemo just simply put Madripoor.
Mm-hmm. We all know those places like that where you go and like that town has a distinct smell.
Mm-hmm. It's that's what it is. And I think that's their way of saying how toxic it is.
Yeah.
So, and Zemo reiterated, you have to stay in character. Your lives depend on it. Basically, they're going to smell through you.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to smell what you are. And then I just thought it was really suspicious that car pulled up in front of them and parked in the middle of the lanes, 2 lanes. That's a bad driver.
Yeah. It's very inconspicuous-ish. There's only people on the road.
But
that's not weird.
That's Madripoor.
Mm-hmm. Nobody's really coming in. And then they drive on in. They get this very cool, like, samurai bike rider escort thing happening. And, they got the gigantic tall sissy bars with different insignia and things on the back. I wonder if the groups of the bike riders signify anything from the comics, or if it's just a cool little throw in. And
I don't know.
My mind went to Akira when I saw that. Just
like Kaneda, like not Kaneda's bike, but yeah, like the clowns
and just like all the bike culture that surrounded that. And then so the bikes kind of, they escort them through, they veer off, they get out, and then you get a better view of the actual city itself. You start to see stuff from the inside, and it is grimy and dirty and flashy all at the same time. There's the neon lights, the cables, the smoke. It just visually, it is freaking cool.
It really is, as bad as it's supposed to be. It's a pretty place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was at least visually intriguing. Which I like synthwave, vaporwave looking stuff anyway. So this kind of grabbed my attention. Shady people everywhere, carrying guns. There's like,
It's not just everywhere. It's literally every person you see.
yeah, they're holding, ARs and assault rifles and different types of guns up in the air, just like casually having conversations. There's bags of what we're going to assume are illicit substances being just like shuffled around like it's an open air food market.
They're dominoes.
Yeah. And then we see the Princess Bar, and it wasn't, because we talked about that. You see, I think it was Sam that looked up and saw the neon sign for the Princess Bar.
Yep.
And it wasn't like it was something that was in the background that, like, you had to pause at just the right moment and like, oh, look back there in the back left side of the screen. They focused on Princess Bar.
It was in your face.
It was in your face. That's for a reason. Then we get the cool monkey.
It got the monkey. And then as they're going in, it pans out to some, I guess, spray painting, tagging on the
Graffiti?
building behind it. And it says, Power Broker is watching. And if you notice, I didn't notice it at first until we paused it. That's actually 2 sets of eyes right there.
3.
Is it 3?
Yep.
Oh yeah. The other sets like got the red all over them.
Yeah, so it's very, what is it? 1984. Big Brother is watching. Then very, yeah.
So, but yeah, we've hinted at the Power Broker, but now, or not even hinted. We saw, Power Broker's goons last episode.
Mm-hmm.
But now we know, obviously the Power Broker has some sort of influence here in Madripoor. Yeah. So they're walking around in the Princess Bar. And again, everyone just looks shady. And they're all kind of getting out of their way.
Did they go into the Princess Bar or did they just pass? Is this where they are now? Because I
never they're in the Princess Bar now.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, they're in the Princess Bar. Princess Bar is always a mainstay. If you need anything done in Madripoor, it's through the Princess Bar.
Okay.
So they go in, and everyone's like, "This is the Winter Soldier," and the bartender's like, big old guy. He's like, "Hello, gentlemen." Hey, and he's like, "Hey, wasn't expecting you, Smiling Tiger." And I like how Sam doesn't say anything; he just kind of nods.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't know how he's even supposed to sound.
Exactly. No, yep. Just nod and affirm everything.
Yeah.
And Zemo's like, "We have to do business with Selby. Plans have changed." And then this masked person pulls their hood down even lower and kind of walks off.
Yep.
And then you see Jojo, the circus boy, next with, his cut ears and tattooed face. Mm-hmm. He is Madripoor's Spider-Man. He just got spider webs tattooed on his face. That's not real. He looks at, it's a thing. And he looks at Smiling Tiger, says the usual. And Sam just kind of looks confused. And Bucky's kind of looking around. The guy pulls a snake out of a jar. And Sam's face when he sees what it is, because he kind of turned around, then he looks at it. That's just gold right there, too.
He maintains.
He does maintain. And the guy starts slitting open the snake's belly. And Zemo's like, because Zemo knows what's coming. I knew it was coming. And he looks, he goes, "Smiling Tiger, your favorite." And the look, if you pause it just right on that part, look at Sam's face.
Oh, yeah.
It's a combo of I'm going to kill you.
And I'm going to puke.
And I'm going to puke. And then Bucky just kind of like looks around.
The bartender's just like looking at him like, yeah, take that shot.
Right. And I know what he's doing because this is actually a delicacy depending on where you are in some Asian countries. It's the snake heart.
Okay.
It's usually still beating though when they do it.
That probably was.
It's a delicacy. It's supposed to be good for men. Their stamina.
It's like if you're gonna run
So-
a marathon, you need a snake heart.
Not that kind of stamina.
If you're gonna climb Mount Kilimanjaro, you need a snake heart.
If that's what you want to call her, yes.
You're planning on doing like a triathlon, and you really need to. Then you need a snake heart. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. If that's what, yep. If you want to go all the way.
Yeah.
So, but it's usually, so when they do it, they usually put the beating heart, cut it out of the live snake, put the beating heart in, and it's still beating in there.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what Asian country. Some do it, from a dead snake, put it in there. It's supposed to be a delicacy. I don't think I would ever try it.
I try it. I mean, if it was offered to me, if I'm in a shady bar and my cover depends on me drinking a beating snake heart shot, or if it was just like, Friday night and someone's like, hey, you want to try this? I probably would.
I like how it went from you're not even in the same ballpark with that one. It's like, if my life depended on it doing cover, or if someone on Friday night said, hey, you want to try this? That's not even the same area.
I'm just saying I would try it. I'm not gonna,
and I could see you doing that, but
if it was offered to, I mean, I don't want to be rude for one. That's rude.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I'll take your snake heart shot.
You're like, all right, Johnny.
Mm-hmm. There we go. I'm gonna go run that marathon.
I'm gonna run that marathon. Any ladies listening who want to run a marathon with Kyle?
Bring your own snake.
Bring your own snake. You get your own.
My snake.
My snake. So he offers Sam, and then Sam looks at the heart, looks at Zemo, but he picks it up.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically gives him the salute.
Bucky kind of gives the look too, like trying not to
crack a smile. He does the Bucky stare,
which he does really well. Bucky stays in character.
Yeah, I would have been literally gagging at that point. And Sam gives him a thumbs up, and the guy's just
he's like
uh-huh. And then Walter White comes up and talks to Zemo.
Yeah,
or is that
Walter White,
or is that more like the love child of Sid Haig and Walter White?
Oh, that. We'll go with that. Rip Sid Haig.
Sig White.
Yeah. One of my favorite actors.
He was great. He says, I've heard from the uppers, you're not welcome here. Word on high, you ain't welcome here. And Zemo just shoots right back, like not missing a beat. This is the Zemo's power of manipulation. Right in front and center. I have no business with the power broker. If he insists, he can come down and talk to me. And that's pretty brave. He looks at, Bucky, new haircut, or he said, or bring Sobe for a chat. And the guy, for the most part, just kind of wanders off. And Bucky's like, power broker, really? And here's where it becomes apparent who runs Matterport at this point. He said, every kingdom needs a king. Let's just pray we stay under his radar. We know for a fact now the power broker runs Matterport. It was hinted at, but now it's confirmed. And then Sam's like, you know him? And Zemo's like, only by reputation. It's like, you only know this person by reputation?
Yeah. He got him that far, and he's like, oh, yeah. Well, I kind of know. I know a guy that knows a guy. Came this far.
I know a guy. And he says in Madripoor, he's judge, jury, and executioner. And then this guy starts wandering up to Zemo. And if you notice, Zemo's just like turning around. Like he's not even stopping to glance to assess the situation. He's already assessed it just from a quick turn.
Yeah.
So genius level intellect again. And then he sees what's coming. He turns around real quick, and he's turning. He's speaking Russian. He's like, Winter Soldier, attack. And because they have to play their parts. The guy puts his arm on Zemo, and Bucky grabs it and basically starts breaking it and beats the shit out of him.
And just starts kicking ass. Like you can tell, I think Bucky needed this. Bucky
I think
had
he
some.
did too.
He really needed to kind of get some aggression out.
And what a better place but Matterport.
And so he starts kicking everybody's ass in the bar.
Not gently either.
Not gently. Guns start coming out. You hear, guns being caught, which is weird. This always bugs me. Not this, just here. Any movie.
Okay.
Bar fight scene, things happen, and then people start pulling guns out, right?
Right.
This is a shady area. Shady people doing shady shit.
Right.
Their guns aren't loaded.
I never noticed that.
I mean, it's not just here. It's like in almost any movie. Like, it's to make the point. Like, okay, shit's going down. Chaka! I'm gonna chamber one real quick,
Chicka chaka.
very loudly.
Again, I really want Kyle to be doing the sound effects for Marvel MCU from now on.
We'll do a dub over that at some point in time.
Chicka chaka.
Chaka! And but yeah, like you see, like they're racking the slides on their pistols, or running the charging handle on their rifles and stuff. Like, were you guys just not ready for something? Like, oh, we're just we'll have it. We're kind of ready. We're not totally ready. We want to make sure we need to take that extra 2 to 3 seconds to arm our weapon in case something happens.
Well, I guess it kind of like, okay, full disclosure, I've never shot a gun in my life. The only gun I've ever shot has been where the dog laughs at me after I miss. That's literally the only gun I've ever shot.
I'll take you shooting. We'll go shoot some shit.
God, for the love of God, please go. Okay, here's how you do it. You point it. Kyle's gonna give me something without bullets, probably, and he's gonna be shooting. He's going chicka. But I know for a fact, like, you're not supposed to, like with shotguns, like what they do in the movies, like, come on, let's get ready, and they just start. What is that? Priming it? What's it called?
Yeah, racking the slide on it. Like, if you're ready, you'd already have it. Yeah, like
there.
Whatever.
But doesn't that eject the cartridge when you do that though too?
If you already have one in.
Okay, so but I know you're not supposed to do that at first.
Yeah. It's just like whenever they were racking the slides on the pistols, and they're pulling charging handles on the rifles. That meant they didn't have one in the chamber. That meant it wasn't ready to shoot. They had their mags loaded, but if something happened like quick, they weren't able to like react and shoot instantly. That means they're gonna have to like draw, load, and go, which is, you just don't do that. But whatever, it's dramatic effect.
It's fine. It's
fine. So he Zemo, was he telling Sam or Bucky? He's telling Bucky to stay in character.
Yeah, he's telling Bucky.
And they're told that what exactly were they told? Oh, he tells Bucky, well done, soldier. Doing good, staying in character.
Well, because he tells him that too, if you notice, because the tide's starting to turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about to get really ugly.
And it's a fight that he knows that they couldn't win.
Yeah. And then the bartender says, Selby will see you now. Just like, all right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah. And so they get whisked away through the back rooms. You see all, the money cages, and they do the really cool slow motion walk through everything. Piles of money. They're being followed by armed guards. Piles of really sketchy bagged up substances on tables. And we see her.
There she is.
Yeah. Dang it, I forgot her name again.
Selby.
We see Selby. That's a hard one.
Well, because I keep wanting to call her Shelby.
Yeah.
So, did she look familiar? I couldn't tell. She kind of did, but she kind of didn't.
Kind of didn't. Did she have an accent? She had a kind of a Englishish accent. Platinum, short hair, that accent.
Very, very European looking.
Very European. And she says, people just don't walk into my bar and make demands. And so Zemo goes into, he's in his element now. He's negotiating. It's not demands, an offer. Says, it's been a long time since you've been here. Thought you were rotting away in a German prison. How'd you escape? And he answers her question without telling her anything, which, people like us always find a way.
Mm-hmm.
But something else he's very good at is moving the conversation forward, keeping things going. He knows where he wants to steer this. He's trying to get more information out of him. He's not going to give out any more information than he needs to. He apparently has never seen Smiling Tiger before. Apparently none of these people may have ever seen him up close, except for maybe the bartender.
The bartender has.
How the bartender not? Maybe they just hadn't seen him very much. Just not enough to, throw him off. But whatever.
Right.
So Zemo starts prodding her for information, and the asking about the serum, offering, a barter. I'll give you the Winter Soldier. You tell me this information. I'll give you him. With the code words to control him. Bucky's standing very, very stoic and staying in character. Zemo's like just straight up fucking with him. He's like, control him, and starts like moving his lips. And I think that has to be another one of those scenes. Every episode has had it where I'm like, I know that they had to shoot that at least 3 or 4 times because they were going to be busting up laughing. And
I
so
agree.
when Zemo said, along with the code words to controlling, and he says he'll do anything you want, and so he's just like rubbing his face.
Well,
and
and he grabbed the bottom of his lips like he's making him talk.
yeah,
Like he's going make him do whatever I want. Yeah, and I agree. Like, well, if you pause literally right after that, she's kind of got this little smirk, like she's trying to keep it together.
Mm-hmm. And Zemo looks like kind of the same thing. I want to see the gag reel for this series.
I do too.
Because I know there's going to be so much stuff that, yeah. So anyway, so she said, you're right to come to me arrogant, which is Zemo, but right. Also Zemo.
Also
Zemo. She just straight up tells him the serum's here in Madripoor. Dr. Wilfred Nagel is the man you want to thank. Condemn, depending what side you're on. And she says the power broke. Like she's just like spilling the beans out of nowhere because she
has nothing to lose almost. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to get a super soldier. I'm going to tell you everything. And, Zemo keeps prodding for more information. Is he still here? She says the break room you can have for free. The bakery is going to cost you, Baron. And tell him, like, don't think you can find Nagel without me. And so Nagel is from some of the, I didn't read the series. What was it? Truth series that had what was it? Isaiah?
Isaiah Bradley.
Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
So did you read that series at all?
What about Isaiah? A long time ago.
So apparently Nagel was one of the scientists that in the books, not here, not in the show, but in the books, was one of the scientists that helped develop it for Isaiah.
Yeah, he was. So Nagel, if I remember correctly from original canon, I think he might have been like a he was either a fan of what's his name? The guy who developed the super soldier serums for Steve. He was either like his assistant,
Eric
Stein, something like that. Either that or he's like a fan. I can't remember. I'm overthinking this, I'm sure. Okay,
yeah, so that's where Nagel comes in.
Yep.
Then Sam's phone rings, and Selby tells him to answer it on speaker. And it's Sam's sister.
Which
And-
this is a great scene. It really is.
And so he starts playing off, luckily she's talking pretty vaguely about things. And, she's like, situation. He's like, what situation are we talking about? And she's like, are you high? The only situation, me and have. He's like, what situation, Sarah? Say it. And the damn boat, and talks about the banker. And he's like, yeah, the bank laundered so much. Yeah, they'll come around. Like, trying to play it all off.
Yes.
And
you notice he gets louder?
yeah. Like, I don't know if
Just trying
he's
to play it off.
trying to play it off or trying to subtly hint to his sister, like, I need you to get off the damn phone now.
I think it might have been a little of both.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, the banker. So he'll be thinking that when I have him killed. Like, he's fumbling through this so hard. And you can see the look on Zemo's face. Like, like, Zemo's nervous. Like, his asshole is puckered up tight right now because, like, we are screwed. He's going to blow the cover.
It's bad. It's really bad.
And he almost makes it through it until, the kids start yelling in the background about Cheerios and all these different things. And she's like, Sam, I'll call you back. And as soon as she says Sam, Selby.
You saw the shit.
Mm-hmm. You see the look over Selby's face, and she knows right then something's not right. She's like, who's Sam? Kill them. Like, within like a half a second. She's like, kill him. And then you hear a shot ring out, and Selby gets shot dead center. Like, center chest or through her back, one of the two. I can't tell where it went in. The shot rings out. Selby gets shot, and they start kicking everybody's ass in the little holding room there. Acquire some weapons. And now Zemo is in super freak out mode because we're like, we have a problem. Leave your weapons, follow my lead.
Mm-hmm.
And now there is this is cool. I didn't catch this. I should have went back and watched it when I first saw it. But I didn't see what the currency was. But you see them leaving out, then you see screenshots of everybody checking their phones. Or not screenshots, but your phone's going off. Look down at this guy holding his phone, and it's from messages.
Is it
a message? Well, no. Well, first of all, it's from an unknown number, 0000000 all the way across. Selby dead, 1,000 Bitcoin bounty for her killers.
Oh, is it Bitcoin?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, it is, isn't it? I didn't notice that. Okay, did this remind you of John Wick?
A little bit.
Like when John went excommunicado?
Wait, was that 3?
That was 2. That was in the end of 2. Remember, because he killed the guy, and then he killed him in the hotel, which was neutral ground.
Yeah.
And then they gave him the thing, and then they said John Wick is now excommunicado, and everyone's cell phones started going off with the bounties.
Mm-hmm. So
this is what it reminded me of.
Yeah, and so before they even get, just as soon as they're out of the building, like, everybody knows, like the vendors on the streets making, shooting at them with they're finger banging them as they go down the street.
They're finger banging, and it's the little. What is she? That's not like a red light district, but she's like, she had. If you look at the scene before, she had a microphone. Is she like a fortune teller or
maybe like a street side karaoke artist?
Window dancer? Street side karaoke artist. Yeah, Zemo's not good. So this was a great scene. This really was.
It's very choreographed. As I go back and watch it, you see the motorcycles crossing in the back in sync with shots going out, and just all the action going on behind them. Bikers are after him.
Okay, so Now that I get a better look at those bikes, you know what those things probably are on the back? They have them in a lot of Oriental countries.
What are they?
That's the courier bikes. That's what they stick stuff in, like food and stuff, so it doesn't slosh around.
Oh,
So I'm wondering if that's what those are. And you know, because like everyone in Matterport is like basically has some connection to the underworld. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if it's like that.
they're just that could be. Oh, when the two cross behind them, look like they had people on the back. Yeah, it looks like where they could strap stuff to it. And so now they're running, going down the alleys. Shots start ringing out from
Shots
Yes.
ring like a bell.
Second story window. The people that they are being chased by get dropped by a hidden assailant. That's obviously
Guardian
working
angel.
in their guardian angel working in their favor. And we see somebody emerge from the shadows. And Chris, you take that because you're more familiar with this.
It was the person from the bar who put their hood down. It's Sharon Carter, or Peggy Carter's, the founder of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Steve's great love of Steve's life, her niece.
Yep.
Sharon, if you remember, is the nurse from the Winter Soldier who lived across the hall from Steve, who turned out not to be a nurse, but an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's also the ones who in Civil War got Sam his wings back and Steve his shield back, which made her an enemy of the state.
Yep.
She became labeled a traitor there. Sharon she's an elite S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, deep cover. So
badass.
She's bad. You don't fuck with Sharon. You really don't. Excuse me. But yeah, and she's holding a gun up, and we'll get to this here in a little bit, but Marvel did Sharon wrong. They did this character wrong.
Okay. All right, so we'll get to it in a little bit.
Because
I'm curious your thoughts on that then.
Because she was such a big part of the movies. You know what I mean? Like a very, very big part. And her history is wrapped with Captain America so in depth in the comics. Like, I'd like to see her fleshed out a lot more.
I think this could be the beginning of that, for sure.
It could be, or I'm hoping that they just don't throw her away.
Yeah.
Because they needed someone. And basically Sharon's like, Falcon's like, I was on the run. And she's like, yeah, I win. I don't talk to my family. You find out she's living in Matterport now.
Yep. Living pretty well.
She's living very well. But the way she's living is not lawful.
No.
So I don't know. I think they've done her dirty. You find out that things haven't, while Sam's still a hero, Bucky's been pardoned. Nothing happened with Sharon. This is why I think she was done dirty by Marvel. Yeah. She's on the run still. Like, if she goes back to the US, she's getting she's being labeled a traitor and getting arrested, so she can't go back. Kind of tragic hero storyline, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Which could play out good.
It could play out really good. I hope they keep her around because I really like her character.
Yeah, and I think just that they could do a lot with it. Excuse me. Now we know where she's at. We know what she's been doing. She goes to her estate, and she talks about living well, because now she's like, I'm gonna live life as a hustler undercover. Then I might as well hustle and find out she's been like fencing stolen artwork, original artwork, like Monet.
She has
Van Gogh's.
Armed guards at her gate when they walk in.
Yeah. And I like how Sam's like, oh, you're making your living peddling, fake Monets or whatever. And they're like, no, it's real. And so he looks it up. Or you see Sam pull out his phone as, Zemo's looking at the artwork. And Zemo knows that this is the real deal stuff. And Sam pulls out his phone. He's looking at it. And Bucky walks by. He's like, yeah, what does Google say?
Yeah. Yeah, and Sam goes, "No shit."
Yep. So yeah, she is a stolen art vendor. Cool.
Which, if you think about it, makes sense. She's on the run. She can't do things legally to make money where they can trace back to her.
Yep.
Why not go to the most lawless city in the world?
Mm-hmm.
You do what you have to survive, and she is doing quite well.
Where they obviously operate with crypto quite a bit. It's kind of cool.
Obviously, yeah. Because 1,000 Bitcoin, that's quite a bit of bank right now.
Yeah, like right now, if you had 1,000 Bitcoin at 50K Bitcoin, it's yeah, 2 more zeros to that. 50K, 500K. It's 50 million
Jesus.
US dollars. If my math's right, I think it is. I'm still kind of tired.
Right. No, you know more than I do.
I'm just moving zeros, buddy.
But she says, I'm hosting clients in an hour. They're getting ready. And she's like, you guys got to get out of the pimp costumes, basically.
Mhm.
And Sam's with the shirt off. She's like, much better. I'm like, oh, Sharon.
Uh-huh. Ooh.
Ooh, Sharon. It's like, what's up, Sharon? Why don't you want to ever go back home? And she said, that's where she says straight up, they'll lock me back up if I step foot back in the States.
Yeah.
And she said the reason that she's there is because Matterport doesn't allow extradition. And that's exactly why she's staying there. It's a lawless town, lawless city. And Sam's like, I'm sorry I didn't call. To me, it's a bunch of excuses is what he was trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
And she called him out on it. And she's like, look, the whole hero thing's a joke. Like, she doesn't believe in heroes anymore at this point, which.
No, she's pretty jaded, rightfully so.
Extremely jaded. And you're extremely right because, she had a thing for Steve. She helped them. And look what it got her.
Yep.
And then she brought up too, the way that you gave up the shield, deep down, it's hypocrisy. And then for the first time we hear Bucky speak up. Good.
I say, Bucky's just eating that up.
Yeah,
that's what he's been telling Sam.
He goes, he knows, and not. No, as Zemo said, he knows, and not so deep down. And then Sharon's like, by the way, how's the new Kevin? And then Bucky's just sitting on the couch. Don't get me started, old man Bucky.
Mm-hmm. Just staring.
Yep. And was it Sharon that goes, yeah, she goes, please, you buy into this, you buy into all that stars and stripes bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, before you were his pet psychopath, you were Mr. America, Cap's best friend. She's really going after Bucky too.
Yeah. Well, she's pissing all of them.
Yeah, and Bucky kind of screwed her too. Not like physically, but you know what I mean.
You know what I mean.
She's just really rubbing at him, and she's like, and who was it? Was it Sam who goes, you're kind of awful now?
Yeah.
And she just kind of gives him this, okay.
Yeah. So, he's telling her, like, we need your help, Sharon. And she's
it was Bucky. Bucky said, wow, you're kind of awful now.
Mm-hmm. And, he's like, I can help you. I can get your name clear, blah, blah. And she's like, I don't want charity. You're just, she doesn't want to be used again. And that's what she feels like she's getting ready to get set up for. And she's not having any of it at first. But Sam finally kind of breaks through. He's like, I want to try, like, when we get back, I'll clear your name and you can come home and we just need your help. And Contact is like, I'm willing to try if you are. She said, declare the bionic staring machine. He's just always giving him shit, and I love it.
Well, and it's a great line.
Yeah. And she finally gives in. Like, I think she probably wanted to from the get-go to help him.
Right.
I don't think I mean, yeah, she's jaded and she's pissed and she's, stuck in this terrible millions of dollars home with, servants and armed guards and high end liquor and all this stuff. But she wants to go home.
She's homesick.
She's
She
homesick.
lost everything.
And so I think she's timid about helping them or wanting to help them, but deep down she really did want to help them. Even, because that's just who she is, no matter how jaded she is right now from everything. And so she's like, I'll get some information. She says, she has the party tonight, tells everybody lay low, blend in, stay out of trouble, and I'll see what I can find. So she's going to, work her magic through the crowd and get info. Kurt and Zemo's just like, trouble,
Yeah.
And so then you have this huge party. There's DJs. I'm going to assume there's probably a lot of cocaine going on in the corners. Probably some ecstasy. Everybody's dancing. They've got their tablets and devices out, and they're reviewing all the artwork that she's selling. Music's going, drinks are flowing. Bucky is like kind of enjoying it. You see, he's like walking around, like kind of looking, like, yeah.
Well, I was saying too, watching the scene, it's like, God, can you imagine the COVID protocols for filming this scene?
They're Matterport. It doesn't matter there. Oh, for filming the scene, yeah.
For filming the scene. No, not Matterport. No, but like for the real actors, like look how many people are just mushed together.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Matterport is like they don't enforce the mask mandates.
Mask mandate. Yeah, no, they're like my freedom.
Yeah. And that would have been a bitch to shoot. One of my favorite things happens in this little short scene here, though, because you see, Bucky looking around and kind of nodding his head. Sam's talking with people, and then you just see Zemo by himself, just like dancing, like doing the Night at the Roxbury, like one hand fist pump.
Yes. Yeah, that was hilarious.
I still got it.
We're having fun.
Yeah, we're having fun now.
We're having fun.
This is the time in Sprockets when we dance.
We dance. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Sprockets.
So no, it's the time on Sprockets when we dance. That was good, dude. Okay, so what did they say at the end? They said it's just people having fun. Zemo doing the fist pump. And then Sharon's like, guys, I found him. And that's the end of that party.
Yeah, it was a quick party. It took her like 30 seconds. She found the guy she was looking for. Now they're back out. And so I'm assuming this had to be like either the party went really late into the night or this was a daytime party, because now they're at the docks with all these containers. They're wearing the same shit they were wearing at the party. And so they did like the walk of shame to the port, maybe.
Is there a walk of shame in Matterport, though?
Probably not. That's probably just the walk.
It's just
like
the walk, because I don't think there is shame. Like when Lisa yells at Homer, Dad, hide your shame. There would be no shame there.
No shame. You just walk in the streets.
It's like no scrubs. It's no shame in Madripoor. Oh, Dave Coulier could holler at whoever he wanted there. No songs written about him.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about any
no scrubs.
Retaliation there.
No.
No diss tracks on Dave Coulier in Matterport.
Dave Coulier, if you're listening, consider moving to Madripoor. We love you. We do love you. But consider moving to Madripoor.
You hilarious man horde, you.
So they see this container and it's empty, but Zemo goes straight for the back and looks at it and pushes in, and you hear music playing.
I thought they may be getting set up. This part made me nervous because are you just gonna walk into the container? She's hanging out outside. Like I kept waiting for that door to slam, and she was gonna turn them in.
Well, did you notice? So I didn't notice this till I had the caps on going through this. Do you notice what the song's lyrics are?
I did. I wanted to look back and see what the song actually was.
Okay, I'm coming home, baby. Come on home. Coming home, baby. I'm waiting here for you. I'm coming home now real soon. You've been gone, coming home, baby. Now you don't know what I'm going through. I'm coming home. I know I'm overdue. Since you went away, expect me any day. How I feel too. Now, real soon. You think that's completely picked because of the Sharon arc?
Maybe. I'm gonna try to see if I can see what song that is. I have a hunch that's probably wrong.
I was kind of hoping for cheeseburgers. Their song from Super Jail.
Yeah, I've never watched Super Jail.
Oh, that's such a good show. It's so messed up. You would love it. It's like The Boys, except in 13-minute arcs. So
I'm looking this up.
okay, so while you're looking up, so they're going in, guns drawn, and they see this guy who we assume is the scientist sitting here, and then he turns around, gasps, and they're like, is it Dr. Nagel? Nagel, wouldn't it? And he's like, yeah, who wants to know? And they're like, we know you created the super soldier serum. And he's like, yeah, whatever, get out of my lab. Goes around, and there's the Winter Soldier, and he stops dead in his tracks. So Bucky is very, very well known in Madripoor.
Was it ever said that he had went there?
If this is the bar that they met, if the Princess Bar is the bar that Isaiah and Bucky met in, then yes.
Okay.
That's where I'm kind of trying to see if I'm putting 2 and 2 together at that part.
Did he say where the bar was? He did. I'll have to go back and look at that again, but this may have been the bar.
It was, they said, in South Korea, I believe.
Okay.
He said, this is Baron Zemo. I know you've heard of him too, right? And Zemo's just looking at him. If you remember why Zemo would be looking at this guy like this guy has created super soldiers. Zemo hates super soldiers.
Zemo does hate super soldier.
And then Sharon says that, over the intercom, guys, we got company. These 3 armed guys just come through. And all of a sudden, Sharon comes out with a baton and just total, like, it was very Black Widow-ish to me. Like that level. And
kicks so
literally,
much ass.
Oh my God, she beats the shit out of these 3 guys.
So Madripoor is like Singapore area, so not Korea, but more like Pacific Island. Yeah.
Okay. So its own little island.
Indonesia.
Or is it on
yeah.
Indonesian air? Okay. I think they said that, didn't they?
May have. We might have just missed it.
We might have. Then another guy comes around. She knocked the 3 guys to the ground with this giant knife, and she puts him on the ground with this arm bar, and then stabs him in the butt. And he's down. And she tosses the knife, blind tossed the knife. Did you see that? Because she heard the guy coming, and it went into his arm, like blind toss, and then starts kicking his ass. But he picks her up, slams her down, and she's like, "Ow!" But she never stops, if you notice. Next thing you know, they're the 3 big bad guys who have fought aliens, fought soups. They're sitting here, 3 of them on this one little scientist, and they're sharing outside, demolishing guys. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like calling us like, hey, like every assassin in the town's here. Hey, all this is happening. And they're just like, all right, scientist man, give us your lunch money, nerd. And she's out there.
All right, scientist man.
Yeah. Like they just needed one guy there, and the rest of them could have went and helped. Nope, she's out there just, and it was just to set up and reiterate like how much of a badass she is. Is really what
it's true. She really is.
Was the point of that.
And then he says, I was brought into Hydra's Winter Soldier program to pick up their work. After the 5 failed test subjects in Siberia, when Hydra fell, I was recruited by the CIA. So he's getting into his full backstory right now, how he came into the program.
He's spilling all the beans.
And he says, this is extremely important right here. They had blood samples from an American test subject with semi-stable traces of the serum in his system. And Sam just goes, "Oh shit!" And Bucky's just doing the stare, but they meet, their eyes meet. They know they're talking about Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah.
From his 30 years of imprisonment and the forced blood samples. And he says, I was able to isolate the necessary compounds in his blood. And then he said, I was a god. There it is right there.
Mm-hmm. This guy is
He's very defiant too.
Defiant, but really caught up on he did all this stuff with no recognition for it. He's like, this wouldn't have happened without me. This is me. This is, very arrogant about it in a way.
Extremely arrogant about it.
Zemo finds a gun under a desk. Oh, before that, he does tell them, they ask how much of it is out there. And he said, what, 20 samples? And
20.
Yeah, 20. 20 vials, and Carly stole all of them. We know she's used at least 8. Power Broker is pissed because those were supposed to be his to use as he pleased. So, you got the kingpin of the most seedy city in the entire MCU right now after this one group. And I guess she had reached out to him to help out with they asked where she is now, and she said that she reached out to see if he could help with someone named Danya Medini, who had tuberculosis. The lady on the bed earlier in the episode. She put those two together pretty easily. And he said it's typical of overpopulation and displacement camps like that. So not only are they short on supplies, they're in bad shelter, they're in bad conditions, and disease is running rampant in these camps because of the overpopulation. So people are dying off. So this makes you kind of, feel for the flag smashers again. They've got a fairly noble cause now at this point that they're fighting for. They ask him, what happened to the woman? He just says, not my pig, not my farm.
Yep.
And basically, not his problem, he did what he needed to do. And he's, he washes his hands of it. Then we go back to Sharon kicking ass again in the containers. We've seen her physical skill, hand-to-hand skills. She stabs a guy, stabs another guy, gets some pistols. Now we see more of just how badass she is with a gun. Short range, close quarter combat.
And make no mistake about it, she's a badass.
Mm-hmm. And then we go back to the guys in the container. Bucky asks him if there's any serum in the lab. He says no. Sharon runs into the container and finally tells them, guys, we got to get out of here. Now they know there's no serum. And Zemo shoots the nerd. Damn you, Zemo.
You knew this was going to happen, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, when he grabbed the pistol, he was setting up for it.
And we all knew this was going to happen.
And Zemo's reasoning, this man contains the knowledge to make more serum.
Mm-hmm.
This man is too dangerous in Zemo's eyes to stay alive. So he gets Zemo'd.
He gets Zemo'd.
Zemo does what Zemo does. Container gets RPG'd from the outside, which now, stuff's going to blow up. I look back, that dude was going to die anyway.
Yeah.
Man, I can't be too mad at Zemo.
That's just Zemo.
That's just Zemo. But yeah, so once that rocket hit, they probably weren't going to save that guy anyway. He was dead either way. And so they leave the wreckage of the container, see that they're surrounded. They're doing call outs. Bucky and Sam have some miscommunication about who needs to go where. They start, cap and pulls. You see Sam like use a gun, which you don't see very often. Like
No,
you don't
Sam
see
with
our soups use guns often.
You see Sam with a gun all the time though, except just like the little Uzi in his suit. The
Yeah, but he doesn't use it a lot though. He's usually flying
That's
around
true.
grabbing stuff, like him like on the ground without his wings, just shooting
That's
stuff.
true. That's
And
true.
I mean, we've kind of talked about this before. We don't have very many gun wielding soups. We're seeing more in this episode than I think we've seen in the whole run, because you
Right.
just had Black Widow before. Now we got a
Right.
new Cap that carries a gun all the time and uses it in a fight because he shot.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the superheroes, we got Sam using guns. We got Bucky used guns, and so we'll give him that, but he used them less and less. And so I think that just leans more to the action, the buddy cop action
Dynamic.
dynamic that we're getting out of this show.
So, did you get to the part where Zemo's walking on top of the crate, the container?
Not yet. I just got where Sam and Bucky were arguing about. Oh well, yeah, this right here. This actually
this
says
is it right here.
When Bucky's like, "I thought we were going left," and he's like, "You went the wrong way," and Bucky's like, "I was clearing the way. I came out first." So they're arguing back and forth about where to go. Sharon's like, "Guys, it's not the time." And Sam looks at him like, hands at him, goes, "It's in every action movie."
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing, just driving it home of the genre that they're going for. And now we have Zemo on the container, and let you take that from here.
Okay. So he's on the container and he's in full Baron Zemo costume at this point now. And he's just calmly walking up and he shoots the gas line.
Mm-hmm.
Takes out all the guys after them, just about. There's two guys left just looking what's going on. And Zemo just whips across, shoots one, shoots another, and kicks the dude into like the fire and shoots him in the face. Zemo will do whatever it takes to accomplish this mission.
Zemo's a badass fighter too.
He really is. He's an expert. He's an expert in weapons.
Yeah.
So they're still getting fired at. And then I don't know if you noticed this, but when Bucky picked up that pipe and that female assassin was going to shoot at him, or was shooting at him, picked it up with his bionic hand. He hit that one guy, threw it at her. It went right through her shoulder, pinning her into the large shipping container.
Mm-hmm. Got a little umph to it.
A little bit. So they go hide in there and they're like, don't tell Zemo we're in here.
Yeah. Playing a little hide and seek with the Zemo.
Right. And Zemo, goes, oh, hello. And then he walks into the container. All of a sudden you see him pull up in a car, classic car. And he says, supercharged.
What is it? Look like a GTO. Let me go back and see the front of it.
Is that a Pontiac symbol?
Yeah, I think it's Pontiac GTO. He pulled up in. Let me rewind back. I'm going off a. He's like supercharged. So they pile into the car. Bucky takes shotgun.
This is great.
Stands behind him. He's like, "You're not going to scoot your seat up, are you?"
And Bucky goes, "Nope," and they drive off.
Yeah. So they try to get Sharon to go back, and she's like, "I can't. Just get what you promised me. Thanks for everything." She's gone. Disappears back into the daylight shadows.
She says, "Just keep your promise."
So her driver's there to pick her. Yeah, they drive off. Her driver's there to pick her up. Driver like, we got a problem. She's got actually a couple of them. I'll tell you in the car. Let's go. So that's her trusted assistant, I'm guessing. And so I kind of wonder if we'll get some more out of her later. And
I bet we will.
We cut back to, I guess we're still in Latvia, or where are we?
Now we are back in. We're at Latvia now.
I know we're in Lithuania.
Oh, is it Lithuania? Oh, yeah.
Lithuania.
We're at the GRO facility.
GRC.
GRT, GRO, SMB,
Mm-hmm.
LMNOP,
S&M. And so they're
SNM.
the front of the gate. Did this seem like it was just too obvious of a thing? The symbol on the front of the gate.
Yep. X-Men reference.
Yeah. It's just like,
Yep,
we're not
that's
even
what I
going to
thought.
hide this one. This is for all the people that don't get that, like, they're like, we're putting this in there for everybody that didn't catch the subtle hints. Like, here's a huge fucking X on the gate.
And it's
letting
red.
you guys know that this might be happening.
Well, and then, you know, she's talking to it's why can't I think of her name right now? What's her name?
Harley?
Carly. Yeah, Carly's talking to this guy, you know, about how she wanted to be a teacher. And you know, they're scouting out this place.
Yeah.
To try and go get what they need. And she's like, we're going to use all our strength to get these kids in this camp, you know. She's very likable at this point right now, because he's like, you know,
Right now,
you know, the power broker is going to catch up with us eventually, right? And she's like, that's not a problem. Like, she hasn't taken any time to grieve over her mom, which we assume is her mom.
Well, she calls her Mama Donya. I think she was I don't think it was actually her mom. I think it was like, she was like
Mother figure.
The mother figure to the group.
Okay. And she's like, you know, the power broker's going to catch up with them. She's like, yeah, whatever. You know, Nagel was killed in Madripoor. And she's like, we got the last of the serum, and the power broker's about to come begging. Yeah, we know how that always works out with supervillains.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though, and she's making a really good point. Or I think the point she's trying to make is that he's not going to kill all of them.
Right.
Because he needs their blood to make more serum. He needs that to be able to reproduce it. So, I mean, they're not all going to die, but they're probably not all going to make it out really well.
Right. Next thing you know, we see, you know, Captain America and Battlestar. And they're at the prison, and basically they're putting two and two together. Battlestar's like, you really think that, you know, Sam and Bucky would have broken Zero out of prison? He's kind of chuckling about it. And Walker's like, I think that's exactly what they did. They wanted leads like us. And Battlestar's, we can't accuse them of something without evidence. And he goes, which is exactly why you and I are going to run with this one for a minute, which again shows the difference between Steve and John. John will do anything.
Well, yeah. And that line he says where, if we get the job done, do you think they're going to sweat us on the how? And that, like you said before, that, you know, complete the mission at any cost is the U.S. agent thing.
And it's just sitting here going, why? Seriously?
That's good. I was starting to like him, and I didn't want to like him, so now I have a reason not to like him again.
Like, there we go. Because they were making him relatable and likable.
Yep.
Shows the guys back on the plane, the amazing trio, back on the plane, and Sam's actually getting hit by what happened with Sharon.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's hitting Sam all at once, you know, referring to Isaiah like he wasn't a real person.
Yep.
And he's like, you know, how many people have to get steamrolled by this hunk of metal? And then he said, well, it depends on who you ask, but this hunk of metal saved a lot of lives. So I think that the hunk of metal they're referring to is Cap's shield.
Yeah.
And this part's so important right here too. And Sam goes, I made a mistake. And he's like, yeah, you did. And he's like, yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have put it in a museum. Maybe I should have destroyed it. And then Bucky looks at him and he said that shield represents a lot of things to a lot of people, including me. The world is upside down and we need a new Cap, and it ain't going to be Walker. So before you destroy it, I'll take it from him myself. First time we've heard Bucky say, I will be Cap. I will take up the mantle.
And what I liked here was, before this, if Sam would have said anything about like destroying the shield or whatever, Bucky would have lost his shit, right? He's pretty calm right here. Like I think this shows that Bucky is kind of understanding Sam more now.
Mhm.
And so he's talking to him calmer, and he's like, yeah, just like, I get what you're saying, but I want to take up the mantle before you get rid of it.
And which Bucky's really grown. Like even in the 3 episodes that we've been watching this, he's really grown. And again, if you remember from episode 1, I said in the comics, Bucky took up the mantle of Cap for a while.
Yeah. That'd be cool to see.
His Captain, did you ever go look up his Captain America costume? Go look it up.
Uh-uh.
It was like black. It's really cool. So it's Bucky, Captain America.
I'm on it right now.
Don't look at the fan art ones. Like, look at the real comic ones. It's like really shiny and like black, and it's got like, he carries around his gun a lot with it.
Oh yeah, I see. He's black and blue.
Yeah,
and that looks cool.
Yeah, his costume's actually really awesome.
That looks really cool.
So, Buck, this is important. Bucky saying, "I'm going to pick up the mantle. Since you aren't going to do it, I'm going to pick it up." And then Sam's cell phone rings, and I told Mrs. Guyver, I'm like, he has the best cell coverage anywhere.
Mm-hmm. I was like, seeing Zemo being a really gracious host. Bringing some food. There we go. Now we're starting to like Zemo more. No, this is going to turn out.
And then you find out that the person that they were going after is dead.
Yeah.
The Mama Rigatoni. What was her name?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. That's how much it doesn't matter. And then Zemo says some something really fun. I for one am looking forward to coming face to face with Carly. Do you think that's foreshadowing at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I do too.
You think Carly's going to kill Zemo?
No, I think
Zemo's secretly pulling the strings that we haven't seen yet.
That's a possible. Nah.
I know he hates super soldiers.
He hates super soldiers, but he was also using the Winter Soldier. Remember, he said it's nothing personal. You are a means to the end, which means he'll do anything for a means to the end.
Yeah. So he could have some ulterior motive that we don't know about, that he's secretly using them to ultimately destroy them.
I didn't even think of it that way.
Yeah. Well, hang on to that. We'll put a pin in that theory.
Yeah. Next thing you know, Flag Smashers are raiding the facility, and they're like, it's the mother load, enough for the whole camp. And they're just sitting on this stuff. They're picking up all these supplies.
Yep.
And loading up this minivan, which I don't really get. And then it's a big van. Yeah. And then you see the guards inside, all tied up to the pillars, and they said filthy Flag Smashers. And Carly turns, it's Carly, because she goes, "You had 6 months worth of supplies just sat there in the building. Don't you understand? We're fighting for our lives." And she just, shuts the door on him, walks out. The cars are leaving. She goes to old boy's car, who's she talking to earlier, Dovich. And he said, "Carly, aren't you taking your car?" And she's like, "Nope." And I go, "I know exactly what's going to happen here." She gets in and she's like, "Put on your seatbelt. Put your seatbelt on now." And she's like, "What?" Her car explodes.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole building explodes and is on fire. And he's like, "There are still people in there." And she just looks, she has the most matter-of-fact look on her face at this point. Did you see that part?
Yep.
And she's like, "Violence is the only language these people understand." Carly has now gone from being just stealing stuff to becoming a full-fledged terrorist at this point now.
At that point, she went over the line and killed, people that were just doing their job, right?
Right. So Walker is, we've already seen Walker obsessed with finding her. I think we're going to see something beyond obsession at this point now. Yeah,
because he was working with the GRC hand in hand. So
I think she's just crossed the line. So we knew this was coming, but I didn't think it would be this soon in the episode.
Yeah. Now we're back in Latvia.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, I heard what happened was Slakovia cannibalized by its neighbors. What do you say? Cannibalized by its neighbors before the land was cleared of rubble. Erased from the map. And he asked both of them, I don't suppose any of you bothered visiting the memorial. I'm going to gun and say Zemo's probably going to go to the memorial.
Yeah.
I bet we'll see him at the memorial at some point because that's just too big of a line not to do something with.
As we're walking up, as they're walking up the support, you notice, I didn't catch it till I went back and watched it again, that Bucky looked down real briefly while they're talking and kept going.
Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yep.
And he said, I'm going to go on a walk. And he walks back to where they just came from. And the spot he looked down, picked up this little ball that has this symbol on there. Did you have any clue what this was at this point?
I didn't.
I didn't either. I just thought, oh, some kid lost his marble.
Yep.
Like in
Toodles.
Yeah, Toodles. That's what I was gonna say. He really did lose his marbles. And then he sees another one and it's beeping. And there he looks up. He kind of walks into this alley. And he's looking around.
Did you drop something?
Yep. And then who do we see?
Oh, what is her name?
You don't remember?
I don't remember her name.
It's AYO. IO. She is the head of chief of security for Wakanda.
Right.
For the what do they call them? The Dora Major. What is their? They're the elite unit. Dora Milaje. I can never pronounce it. They're the ones with the shaved, with the shaved heads and the energy weapons, and can basically kick everyone's ass.
Yep.
She said in Wakandan, "I'm here for Zemo."
And we're on credits.
And we're on credits. And we remember the White Wolf spent time in Wakanda, so they know him very well. So we know, again, foreshadowing from the beginning, do you think Wakanda's going to forget? No. And here they are. Isn't it amazing how fast they track them down, though?
Oh, yeah. Well, they got super awesome technology. They know everything. They got, yeah. Yeah, that's a good episode.
It was a great episode. I really enjoyed that episode. So it was really good. It's making me think what's going to happen in these other episodes because, I mean, we know what's going to happen. Yeah, we're at the halfway point. I'm pretty sure Carly's going to go bye-bye by Zemo's hands.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to think at this point. We know Sam's going to get the shield back from Walker at some point. But who's going to take up the shield?
Who are you rooting for to take up the shield?
I'd really like Bucky to take up the shield. Just because how much it means to him and how they're writing it. I have a feeling it's going to be Sam. Sam's Captain America costume with a shield is actually pretty awesome too.
It still has these wings and everything, and
yeah, it's still awesome too. But I think Bucky was the better Captain America out of the two. That's just me.
We'll see in 3 episodes, I'm sure.
Dun dun dun. Well, with that, we'll end you with this. We didn't quite hit the 3-hour mark, so you're welcome on that.
We got close.
Wait till we get some sleep again.
Yeah. This is running on fumes.
Yeah, me too. So join us again. We'll release this on Monday, and the next week we'll release another one. Because Colin and I got to build up some episodes back in the bank again. But we'll do that, and then we will probably do a Nerkie next weekend, or not a Nerkie, Nerdrum.
Yeah,
Even though
we'll do
this is
that
a
on the next one.
Nerkie.
Yeah, I think we should.
Yep. So since we're releasing these next two ones as regular episodes, so with that, thank you all for listening to Every Man's Guide to Nerddom. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle, and be sure you guys check out all the info down in the bio. Join the Discord, join in the discussion that we're having with the community on not just this, on all the other topics that we cover and topics that we haven't covered yet. A lot of people with a lot of varied interests and a lot of interest that overlaps. So you'll find some good sources for discussion to have in there. So yeah, go down there, click on that link, join it, agree to the rules, and become part of the community. Watch for Chris and myself both on Twitch. We'll have links for those down below if you want to see us do something a little different from what we're doing. Yeah, go check out our down below, and
there's another dick joke right there.
Another dick joke. This one's full of dick jokes. But click on it, give us a follow there, so you'll know when you'll get the notifications when we go live, and hang out with us in chat while we're streaming for some real-time interaction. And we answer questions about the podcast while we're doing that too, while we're playing stuff. It's just not super serious streams. We're laid back. We're enjoying what we're doing. We're not mega competitive about anything we do. We're just like hanging out. And that's another outlet for us to hang out with you guys from the community is while we're streaming. So hop in there and enjoy that. And wherever you are, if it's morning, night, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening. Be good to each other.
And yeah, what he said.
Okay.
That's it. We'll see y'all later.
Have a good one.
Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore used to be just a made-up word. MCs shied away from